doing today?
Good. What's up, man?
Not much. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
This is the second of our summer 2021 music collection interviews. This is Henry Davidson, everybody. We'll start out with where did the inspiration come from for you to make music? Was it a life experience? Was it listening to other artists?
A combination of all of them. My family's just like real heavy into music, so I was brought up on like all kinds of music. And then when I got to be like 10 or so, I started playing the drums. Not very well, but like I started playing the drums and the piano. And then I would take my iPod Nano and just like record myself like talking and trying to rap over that. And
on an iPod.
Yeah, and then like on the voice memos and like play it back. Yeah. It was terrible, but
I remember the voice memos.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I'd say inspiration wise, like Mac Miller, Jay-Z, Kanye, like those artists.
Any specific record?
Younger. Watching Movies with the Sound Off by Mac Miller. That's the one where I really started to take music serious, was after hearing that. Like at first it was more just like for fun, but then that's what made me realize, okay.
Yeah. Tell us about your first song.
Remember it? I think
One of the early ones?
I think I do. I think like technically the first song that was like put out there, me and my friend E.T. made it.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded it on his mom's computer, and what we did was we did like a challenge where we each tell each other what to write about. And so
that's really cool.
Yeah, and I was like, you write about this, you write about that. It ended up being about avocados.
Okay.
And so the first song we ever made was about avocados. It's somewhere still on YouTube. I'm not saying the title. I'm not going to tell anybody.
I understand.
But if you can find it, congrats. It is still on YouTube somewhere.
Excellent. So how long have you been making music for now? Including the avocado days?
Oh, goodness. That was 7th grade. Wow. So, like 9 years, I'd say. That's ridiculous. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It doesn't.
So in 9 years, how has your music changed? What's grown about it? What do you like better about it now?
Tons has changed. I take it a lot more serious now. When I started, it was like I said, it was just for fun.
Right.
But then as I grew older and like became more comfortable with myself, I realized that like my lyrics can like tell a story and explain who I am, things like that. And so my songwriting has evolved tremendously, and now I spend hours just writing and scrapping ideas and like actually like perfecting the song. I do a lot more mixing and mastering now, and working like all the way up until the song's done. I treat it more as like a profession now than
so that
than
way
a hobby.
you can engineer every part of what you put
Yeah,
out now.
I want, like, I know what I want it to sound like, and I have trouble sometimes like telling other people, hey, I want it to sound like this.
Right.
So now I like to be more involved in like all the other aspects.
So would you say you start with the ideas, you start with the life experience, and that becomes the music, or do you build from the sound, or a combination of both?
Probably I start with the experience, usually. Because usually how I start is an idea for a song will just pop into my head when I'm doing like anything in life, and I'll like pull out my phone and like type down a line or two. And then later when I get the chance, I'll like write it in my notebook, and if I'm in the zone, I'll write a whole verse. If not, like I'll come back to it later. And then from there, then it's on finding a beat, maybe like having one of my friends make a beat, and then from there the song's made.
Has that creative process evolved as well, or would you say that's sort of always how it's been? You started with the experience and built the music out of that?
I'd say it's pretty similar to how it's always been, but now it's more like I just keep working until like the last possible second. Like on my most recent album, like I scrapped so much, and like I just kept taking vocal takes and being like, I don't like the way this one word sounds, so I'm gonna get rid of it, and maybe if I say the word like this, it'll sound better.
Do you ever get caught in that perfectionism where you've been doing the same verse over and over and over again? How do you get out of that? How do you decide on one?
See, it helps to have people in the studio with you. Like I record a lot with my friend Elliot, and like I'll be like, what do you think about this? And he'll just be straightforward, be like, no, this part sounds bad, keep this, blah blah blah. And most of the time I'll just be like, okay, yeah, you're right. But other than that, you just gotta trust in yourself and know, like, just go in with no fear and just Have confidence in yourself at the end of the day.
So tell us about Elliot. Tell us about how long you've been working with him and what he means to you as far as music goes.
I have to credit him for like a majority of like my music's like success or whatever you want to call it. We started making music together about 1.5 years ago, and now I record all my stuff at his place. And so I used to have like terrible equipment at my house, and that was the biggest struggle. But he's got all the recording equipment, and he's really talented too. So we just bounce ideas off each other. Performed one of my first shows with him, and so it's just like he's basically like my little brother at this point,
awesome.
Which is pretty
That's
cool.
Good. Yeah. And like you were talking about, it's so nice to have that second set of ears.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Bounce music off of.
Yeah.
So speaking of performances, you've been doing a lot of performances. Tell us about those. What do you love about performing?
I just like love making people happy, and I love music, and I love being around other people that like music, and so that's just the perfect environment for me. I love going to shows, and I love just being myself on stage and just having a good time, and hearing people sing my songs is just like,
there's something electric about seeing
it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
it really doesn't make sense to me. It's just like it's just a great feeling.
Is there a performance that you've been to that you sort of model your performances off of, or you try to replicate the energy from?
Oh, that's not like specifically,
right?
But I have like an idea in my mind of like what I want before I go out there, where I'm like, I want to just like jump at this part of the song. I want to make sure people get up for this part of the song. And so like in my mind, I play out the show like hundreds of times. I'm like, I want this to happen.
Yeah. What's your favorite venue that you performed at?
Ooh. It's technically not a venue, but we performed at someone's house, and it was a mansion.
Really?
Yeah. And they like had a balcony type thing in the back. It was like a $4 million house. It was crazy.
Wow.
And so like all the people were like past the balcony around this pool, and it was
that's
it was just
cool,
surreal.
That's a really cool, like really personal environment to do a performance in. It had to be really nice.
It was super cool because it was really low key, but everyone there had a great time, and it was awesome. So some of your songs have really high play counts. You got a lot of people out there listening to music. You're doing a great job. How do you feel about knowing your life experiences and the music that you've created with them is reaching so many different people? It's still like most of it hasn't really sunk in for me. Like I remember when I hit 1,000 plays for the first time in high school. I was like, "Ooh, wait a second.
And what are you up to now?
Wait a second. Multiple 100,000s to like it just depends on the song,
right.
But it's crazy. I remember hitting 100,000 for the first time, and then I was like, "This is awesome too." And like with each milestone, it's just like, "All right, man! Like I'm really doing this, and like I can't give up now. I gotta keep going."
And one of the things I love so much about your music is how easy it is to relate to. A lot of it's very raw. It's straight from personal experience, and I have a feeling that that's why a lot of people like it so much. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's something else?
I hope so. That's my goal. Is like I hate making songs that like don't mean anything. Like I'm never gonna release a song that doesn't mean something to me or like relate to my life in some way. Like I love telling stories or rapping or singing about feeling. So I hope that's the reason why it's picked up is like people can relate to the feel.
Yeah. What do you want people to get out of your music or out of your performances?
I just want people to have a good time and just enjoy life. Like I know most of my songs have like sad undertones to them, but I enjoy making more upbeat music and music you can just have a good time to. Because we're only here for a short amount of time, might as well have fun and just be thankful.
Yeah, it's a good message right there.
Thank you.
I like it. So, Indianapolis is the city that our company is focused on helping, and you've worked with artists from around the city. What does the city mean to you? What is the community meant to the way your music is developed, or the themes of your music, things like that?
This is my life. This is my family. My dad's from here. My dad's from here. Like we're an indie family, and it's made me who I am. Like, I've met so many people around indie. There's so many creative people and people with ideas. Like, just like, for example, this right here, just the connection of you guys starting your company. And I have other friends that make clothing, like Cam Cunningham and my friend Gavin. And there's just a ton of people our age just doing big things. And so that's what I like so much about it.
We were talking with Alex Conrad about how this city doesn't really have a blueprint. Like Atlanta, you know, if you come from Atlanta and you make music, there's sort of a blueprint for Atlanta hip hop.
Oh yeah.
But Indianapolis, you can be very flexible. You can incorporate different aspects of different music. And one of the things that I've loved so much about this experience is there are so many different backgrounds that come from indie. You don't have one type of person, one type of music, and music is a great reflection of that. Yeah. So your latest album, Kiwi.
Yes, sir.
I gotta ask, do you have a favorite song off of it?
I do. My favorite song is "Lonely Here" because when I made this album, I was going through a really, really, really rough time, and that song was the one where, like, just writing it, I didn't write any of it. It just came out of my hand. Right. I have no idea how.
Exactly what you
that mean. Song just wrote itself, and then I went into the studio and recorded it and played it back and, like, almost started crying. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted this song to be. Perfect. And yeah, so that's by far my favorite. It means the most to me, at least.
There's a lot of, especially current research, that suggests that writing down what you're thinking in tough times is actually therapeutic.
Oh,
do you feel like it was the entire album, that song specifically?
Yeah, the Kiwi, it really started from a really low place. Yeah. Because the whole process of creating the album was actually pretty wild, and that's a really long story. But basically, I was really down, and I just was like, I'm going to make an album about heartbreak and what I'm going through right now. And so every day, I spent several months writing that, and it was just like my own version of therapy. Just going to my room, locking the door, and just writing. And
I think that's another reason your music has been so well received by lots of people, is because maybe your songs are a way for other people to write down figuratively the way they're feeling. You're putting a representation out that, you know, is a relatable experience, like we already talked about. So what's next for you? What do you have in the works? Performances, new music, new albums? Yeah. You don't have to say more than you want to.
There's a lot of stuff in the works. I'll say that much.
What message do you have for your fans?
Just be ready, because we still got a long way to go, and I only plan on working harder and harder and going up from here. So just be ready. There's some stuff on the way, I promise.
Excellent. Do you see this as a viable career option for you? Is this something that you'd want to do if you kept getting bigger and bigger?
It's always been the dream, and
awesome.
I got to be realistic with myself. Like, I'm graduating college this coming year.
Right.
I got a plan in place in case music doesn't work out, but it is the dream. It is the goal.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, Henry.
Of course, thanks,
Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Stay tuned. This has been Henry Davidson, and like he said, be ready. He's got more coming.
Absolutely.